everybody, welcome back to TAZ's Wig Closet at Wig Studio 1. Today we're going to have fun by doing a comparison. I'm going to compare what I am wearing now, which is the Henry Margu's new NATALIE for 2020, against one of the most popular Henry Margu styles called KENDALL. Coming up. So don't forget to see the review that I just did on the Henry Margu's NATALIE, another mid-length beach wave style. Arguably, KENDALL is the most popular Henry Margu style on the market today, and it was really made famous by its beach waves. So it'll be interesting to see these two side by side to discuss the similarities and differences. So I have KENDALL today in the color 614 GR. So let's check out the similarities between the two. So they're both mid-length beachy waves. They have a lace front and a monofilament top. Now let's talk about the differences. So KENDALL's front pieces here, you'll notice, are about 7.5 inches as opposed to the 10.25 of NATALIE. So a big difference around how it's going to frame the face. The other big difference is the texture and the curl pattern. So KENDALL was kind of the original beach wave that Henry Margu came out with. It's really just a deconstructed kind of tousled, loose, wavy style here. I feel like NATALIE is more a modern beach wave, which means it's really highly texturized on the ends, and it seems to be a little more choppy and separated, kind of that air-dried look versus just the tousled nature of KENDALL's waves. KENDALL, hands down, has a nicer lace front than NATALIE. KENDALL's lace front runs temple to temple, and it has a full monofilament, generous monofilament top. They take the highlight right up to that lace front. The knots are very fine. They get denser as you move from the front to the back. It's a very, very natural hairline. So NATALIE's hairline, it's not very contoured. It's a thick, stark line of knots. And the lace feature and monofilament features are very shiny. It does not extend back into the ear tab. KENDALL's a little bit lighter by about 1/2 ounce, but it does seem like this particular KENDALL has less hair on it than does this particular NATALIE. KENDALL also has a lot more permatease than NATALIE. You're going to find heavy pillowy permatease all around that monofilament top, temple, sides, back, and nape on KENDALL. On NATALIE, it's very little here at the top, very little at the temple, a little bit at the crown, and then it's heaviest in the back and at the nape. So I believe that permatease is really there to strategically support whatever type of texture and curl pattern there happens to be on the style. It just so happens that NATALIE seems to have more hair, a little thicker density than does this particular KENDALL. Now, I've had KENDALLs before. I had one of the original ones that they came out with, and it had more density and it had more permatease. So this particular one seems to be very lightly textured compared to the first one that I had. Now, KENDALL can be all over the place, I think. I've seen reviews where it's a beautiful, choppy, separated curl pattern on KENDALL, and then you look at another one and it's big, soft waves. Wavy curl instead of this choppy deconstructed curl that we see here. I think you're going to get a little more lift on top from KENDALL for a couple reasons. There's more permatease on top of KENDALL. Also, the layers are shorter. It's easier to keep them propped up on KENDALL versus the longer, heavier layers around the face and top of NATALIE. So overall, I think if you're a fan of Henry Margu and you're a fan of Henry Margu's KENDALL, I think that NATALIE would be a great sister style. It just has a little bit longer layers in the front, a little bit different texture. So I want to bring your attention to the cap size. So on KENDALL, the cap size is average right out of the box. It has a lot of stretch, and I had to cinch in the adjusters to get a good fit for a petite average circumference. Just the opposite on this NATALIE. NATALIE right out of the box seems pretty average, but is leaning towards petite because I did not have to make any adjustments to get a secure fit for a petite average circumference. So if you chose Kendall because it's a little roomier of a cap, I don't think you're going to enjoy that luxury with the NATALIE. I think the NATALIE is going to limit you a little bit if you are a larger circumference. So let's go ahead then and do our side-by-side comparisons of these two styles. Thanks again for joining me today. We'll see you next time on TAZ's Wig Closet at Wig Studio One.